You go well.
Even,
I mean, your opponent
even
taps out
Trinket
for any
Mage.
3-drop.
Yeah, pretty much.
You counter it no matter what.
Attention Magic players in the light.
So here's a Cavern of Souls for Austin.
Deal with the card without using a card.
Please come see us at the open stage so you can collect your prize.
Cavern presumably naming Angel, although we're not sure. It does name Angel. He's going to play Phyrexia's Core, which Austin needs to read. As would most people, I would imagine.
Yeah, Phyrexia's Core, not the...
and Nihil Spellbomb.
See the most often.
Ian basically getting the Doomblade underneath the Restoration Angel, putting it on the table faster than Restoration Angel could even hit it.
Yeah, so Ian's starting to pull ahead here. Or not really pull ahead, but at least keeping himself in the game. Austin didn't really have that much aggression, so...
There's Phyrexia's Core.
That's exactly what Ian wants.
New Phyrexia Uncommon. Sorry?
Austin really needs a Geist in this matchup.
Yes.
The earlier he can get a Geist on the table, the better he is here.
I think Austin is still unsure as to what he's playing against.
Yeah,
it's possible that he thinks that he can play the Geist at any point.
Yeah,
because he's playing as like a blue-black control deck or something.
Yeah, but even against control decks, I mean, you really want to be the aggro when you're playing Delver.
Yes. There's a Tezzeret Agent of Bolas for Ian, which resolves. It's going to use its +1 ability to look at the top 5 cards of Ian's library. You may choose an artifact from among them and put them in your hand.
Yeah, now Tezzeret Agent of Bolas, very powerful planeswalker. 2 black, blue, +1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, take an artifact and put it into your hand. -1, target artifact becomes a 5/5 artifact creature, and -4, target player loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control.
X is, did you say twice?
Twice the number of artifacts.
Twice the number of artifacts. Yeah. Another Restoration Angel from Austin.
Yeah, a bit of a telegraphed Restoration Angel, passing the turn with 5 lands open and letting a Tezzeret resolve. What else could it really have been? So, Snapcaster Mage in hand for Austin now. Very good.
Ooh, mutagenic growth on the Angel
to take out the
Tezzeret.
And Ian ahead on cards, behind on the board, but definitely able to get back in this, especially if he's able to find a removal spell for this Angel. Austin has the ability to leave open Snapcaster Mana Leak, but correctly recognizes his opponent's deck's weaknesses and decides to jam a Geist of Saint Draft. Alright, so let's see what we can come up with here.
Yeah, we can't really see Ian's hand. He's playing a little bit far back from the table, which is his prerogative, but makes the job slightly more difficult for us.
So, Black Sun's either for 4, obviously, the best thing he could do here. Austin does not have a Mana Leak in hand. It should be pretty clear to Ian that there's no Mana Leak when his Tezzeret is resolved.
Yeah.
But then again, okay.
So we have a Phyrexian Metamorph. This is presumably going to
kill the Geist.
Copy the Geist.
And let's see. Ichor Wellspring. Ian's going to draw a card here. And Ian has many more cards than Austin at this point.
Yeah. And only going to get more with this Phyrexia's Core on Ichor Wellspring. Ooh, this is...
That punishes people for having a lot of cards.
For having a lot more cards, yeah.
Yep, so...
5 plus whatever Ian has in hand. Austin's going to gain 1.
Yeah, Ian taking quite a hit there from that Restoration Angel. Gonna need to find one of his spot removal spells. Remember, he plays a lot of them. He has Go for the Throats, Doom Blades. He even has a Spine of Ishsa.
That's a Worm Coil Engine. Not the best. Certainly not the worst.
Certainly not the worst, but you know, he's gonna take a big hit again from this Angel, and I mean, it really is almost lethal, right? Because he's Snapcaster Mutagenic Growth.
Ah, yeah. So that would be 5, 6, 7, plus however many cards are in Ian's hand.
Yeah, and I think Ian has at least 4 cards, right?
I can't see his hand, so I have no idea. But presumably, from how he drew a card off Nile Spellbomb, he drew a card off of Tezzeret.
Yeah, like most of what he's been doing has been pretty cantrippy.
He drew a card off of Ichor Wellspring.
Like at least 1 land drop. Okay, so no Snapcaster Mutagenic Growth here.
Must have not been lethal.
Yeah, did not have 4 cards in his hand, I guess. He only had 3. So, yes, he only had 3 cards in hand, hence no Snapcaster Mutagenic. Here, we can expect him to swing with that Worm Coil Engine, pop himself back up to 9, but he's either going to need to empty his hand out, or he's going to need to
get rid of the sword or the Angel.
Very quickly.
Now, an interesting thing about Tezzeret is, if you use Tezzeret's ability to turn an opposing equipment into a creature, it can no longer be equipped. So that is another theoretical out. Another Worm Coil Engine is all Ian can muster.
That's not too shabby, though.
No, it's not. It's certainly acceptable.
Yeah, now Austin has Ian at 9 here. Going to make a
Moorland Haunt Spirit token.
And believe going to attempt to win here with Snapcaster Mutagenic Growth. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that is.
Yep, that'll be exactly.
But the Ratchet Bomb prevents Ian from dying.
Ah, right. There's a Ratchet Bomb.
But again, I don't know what's in Austin's hand. If he has Gut Shot, for example,
yeah,
he wins, or a Vapor Snag.
Or a Vapor Snag. Although a Vapor Snag would have won last turn if he has the Snapcaster. He could have Mutagenic Growth off the Snapcaster.
Yeah, the only way he would have a Vapor Snag is if he drew it this turn.
If he drew it this turn, yeah.
So,
Austin has 3 main deck Sword of War and Peace, so he's very much on the sword plan, with the Invisible Stalkers, of course.
He also has a Sword of Feast and Famine.
Yeah.
Lots of swords
4
here.
swords main deck, and the extra 2 Invisible Stalkers for hexproof creatures to carry them.
His Delvers are actually very weak, but it's hard to flip his Delvers.
Yeah, only 17 instants and sorceries in Austin's deck.
Yeah, looking like Austin was unable to kill Ian this turn, which is going to be a pretty huge problem for him. I mean, if he wasn't guaranteed to win on the swing back, it's pretty rough for him.
Yep. Austin looks like he has Invisible Stalker in hand, along with the Snapcaster Mage.
Yes. So
there it is.
Going to come down. Let's see, multiple Snapcasters here.
Yep.
Normally multiple Snapcaster is quite good, but kind of funny. But Ian Farnung's seemingly just simple cantrip Nile Spellbomb.
Yep.
Won him this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian, I mean, this deck is definitely not easy to play. Curse of Death's Hold for Ian.
Pretty good against a invisible stalker.
Yep.
And Ian will swing in for 12. 24-point life swing this turn, putting Austin to 6 and Ian to 15.
Yeah, pretty huge swing there.
Ian also has an untapped Phyrexia's Core that he can use to either create tokens or draw a card off of Ichor Wellspring while also gaining a life.
Yeah, and that life gain could be relevant. At this point, it looks like Ian has pulled far enough ahead to take this match away from Austin. Austin didn't have a very aggressive draw, and as a result, he was on a sword plan. To take this game, rather. Sorry, not the match. But Austin did not have the most aggressive draws in the beginning here.
And he's going to scoop them up, and they're going to go to the sideboard. Now, Austin Fritz has a Steel Sabotage in his sideboard. I would imagine that's going to come in. He also has 3 Celestial Purge. I imagine those will come in to be able to deal with Tezzeret and Curse of Death's Hold.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard because the cards that are like the 4 and 5 mana sorcery cards are harder to use the Celestial Purge against. Like, Curse of Death's Hold isn't really what you want to be Celestial Purging because it kind of does most of what it does the second it hits the battlefield.
Right.
So when you use a card to deal with it, you're not really getting that far ahead.
Tezzeret, though, very important to Ian's game plan.
Yeah, Tezzeret is very important, but if you're in a position where you have to Celestial Purge a Tezzeret, you're losing.
Sure.
You know, you have to put yourself in a position where if your opponent plays a Tezzeret, you can just attack it and kill it. Otherwise, you're losing. So, like, the Celestial Purges are really good against, like, Geralt's Messenger decks and all the Blood Artist decks. But I don't know if I would bring in Celestial Purge just to hit Tezzerets, because if your opponent casts a Tezzeret into an empty board and pluses it, and then you take your turn and you have to use a Celestial Purge to kill it. You can't just start attacking it with guys. You're pretty far behind. Like, you just used a card to kill your opponent's card that drew him a card, or tutored him a card even, and you're not applying pressure if you're not attacking it. And if you're not applying pressure, you're losing because Blue-Black Tezzeret is a control deck.
Yes.
It's a very true control deck. It's more controlling even than the Solar Flare decks. Those are significantly more aggressive. So, pretty interesting stuff. Ian Farnung is playing a much different list than the person who always beats me, who plays Blue-Black Tezzeret. That person splashes white for Lingering Souls. So,
good for the folks at home to know.
Good, yeah, very important. I feel like everybody should know that.
So how's Ian going to sideboard, do you think?
In Ian's board, Ian has a Ratchet Bomb he's going to be bringing in here, Spellskite most likely coming in, and an extra Black Sun Zenith. If we look at Austin Fritz's deck, Austin has Steel Sabotage, and I think he's going to bring in an extra Sword of Feast and Famine. Against these types of decks, you really want to be on a sword plan, so Austin's deck is pretty well positioned here. Yeah. You know, when I play against any type of like blue-black control or Tezzeret deck, I usually do like a sideboard plan where I bring in swords or keep in my swords if I don't have more in my sideboard. So, you know, important stuff. I feel like it'll do pretty well. Cool cards in Ian's sideboard. Ian has a Corrupted Conscience in his sideboard. His main win condition is... Oh, no, it's not. He doesn't have that card.
Corrupted Conscience, best against Wolf Run, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, you get to steal a gigantic monster from your opponent, and it gains Infect. I think he'll probably be bringing that card in against pod-type decks, and basically any deck that has a Titan, or some variety of a Titan in it. Something I really like about Ian's deck is that he's playing 2 copies of Ghost Quarter, with a lot of clone effects. So when he plays against Wolfrun style decks, he can copy their Primeval Titan and search up a pair of Ghost Quarters. And Wolfrun decks don't play more than 2 Kessig Wolfruns. So by searching up those 2 Ghost Quarters, you can get rid of the Kessig Wolfruns, and his deck can very easily deal with the rest of what that deck's trying to do. It's really only the Wolfrun that's a problem. So, very nice deck building trick that Ian Farnung has. Not even a trick, just nice deck building from Ian. The Wellspring card advantage engine is something that's pretty cool. You know, we've seen a little bit in block, but
not in standard.
Not in standard, not at all. No.
And this nearing the tail end of Scar's of Mirrodin Block's time in standard. It's a couple more months away before return to Ravnica, but we haven't really seen Tezzeret take off quite like we thought it might. When it was first released, it was very popular, especially in fighting Jace battles. Being able to trump Jace, sort of.
It could trump a Jace many times, and it definitely creates the same kind of card advantage that Jace creates. The problem is that it imposes an incredible deck restriction, and in doing so, it becomes significantly less playable. I mean, if you're kind of forced into playing this deck that's mostly a block deck when you play Tezzeret, when we're in a format where people have access to this massive standard format.
Yes.
Once M13 gets released, this will be the biggest standard format ever.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
More cards legal in standard than ever before.
So it looks like both players are on the mulligan here.
Yeah, so, I mean, with such a huge standard format, restricting your deck to the point where it's almost a block deck is, a bit of a strange thing.
Yeah.
So, we get through here. Ian, the cards he's probably taking out. Grafdigger's Cage. Not very good here.
Right.
Of course, it helps against Snapcaster Mage, but he has Nihil Spellbomb, and that's much better because it deals with the Moorland Haunt and the Snapcaster Mages.
And it also draws him a card.
Exactly. Just drawing Grafdigger's Cage and having it be a blank is pretty bad. The Ratchet Bombs will probably take the place of Mimic Vat also. I don't think that card's very good here, but I might be wrong. I haven't played much with this deck. So, yeah, I'd say that's what he's going to do. Spine of Ishtar definitely coming out also.
Austin is mulling to 5 here, so...
it looks like Ian Farnung may find himself in the top 8 of a tournament with almost 500 players playing a blue-black Tezzeret control.
Yeah, very interesting.
Congratulations to Ian Farnung. For making it this far.
Making it this far, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, wouldn't be surprised to see him take it down.
Well, yeah, on the play, 5 cards, not particularly good spot for Austin. Delver, of course, is very resilient, and if he has the right opening, can just be faster than Ian before Ian can do any of his impressive things.
I mean, Ian's deck is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like royalty?
I suppose a little bit, sure.
Right? I feel like if he got married, it would be like
part of the royal family, or
event, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So Gitaxian Probe is the opening play from Austin. Ian Farnung has 4 lands. Looks like Wormcoil Engine and Wormcoil Engine.
That is an interesting hand.
That's an interesting keep.
Well, it's 6 cards, still an interesting keep.
It's 4 lands. I suppose Ian has enough faith in his deck.
Yes.
That he can.
Is that definitely another Wormcoil?
It looked like it to me. It's not definitely another Wormcoil, but it looked like it to me.
Okay.
Austin's going to lead off with a colorless land. I suppose it might have been a Nihil Spellbomb.
Yeah, seems pretty reasonable. He'll be able to cantrip into another card, especially being on the draw. By turn 2, he'll have seen 3 new cards. And, when you have a 6-card hand with 4 lands in it, perfect mana, and your opponent says they're going to 5, I think you might want to keep it. Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. Sam Stoddard tweeting at us saying that, that this will not be the largest standard format ever. That would be Ravnica, Time Spiral, and Cold Snap, which also included all of the time-shifted cards.
Yeah, but once M13 comes out, won't it have... We'll have 2 core sets, which we didn't have back then.
Well, some of the core sets will share cards.
But the sets are also bigger now.
That's fair, but...
the core sets are smaller. Okay, Sam... I'll trust Sam Stoddard.
Yeah, right. Austin played a Snapcaster Mage as a Silvergill adept there to Gitaxian Probe once again, Ian Farnung. We were distracted by the information given to us on Twitter. Hopefully you guys at home caught what's in Ian's hand. Because as he plays far from the table, leaning back and relaxed, we can't see very much.
I don't believe it's necessarily that he leans back. He sits up straight.
Oh.
You know, that's a royal...
That is a royal thing to do, yeah.
Learn how to do that. So... I mean, I definitely have cashew back. Most Magic players have cashew back.
Yeah. Look like a jumbo shrimp at the table.
Yeah.
So Austin has a lot of spells in his hand. I think that this Ponder is basically a saving grace here, because he basically only has white and blue mana from that. He has the Cavern of Souls.
Yeah, so I mean, some mana issues here for Austin, but you know, coming out of this mulligan quite nicely.
Yeah.
You know, Ian also mulligan to 6, so not really that bad that Austin mulligan to 5. He's only down 1 card, and he's already used Snapcaster to flashback into Gitaxian Probe, Silvergill adepting. So, I mean, kind of back in this. Not, I mean, not that he was ever out of it, but back in it card advantage wise.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, right back.
Recouping the missing cards quite nicely.
So, now that he's pondered his options here.
I presume the Cavern of Souls was naming human.
Yep, and ponder.
Once again. Showing, looks like Delver, either Gitaxian Probe or Thought Scour, and a land.
Alright. And going to draw Delver. He kept his cards on top. Passing the turn over to Ian. And
now, Ian, if he did have those 2 Wormcoil engines and his only draw was that Nihil Spellbomb, he's in danger of just dying to 2-power attackers.
yeah, just getting Snapcastered.
But he does have a spell here. This is going... Oh, it's just going to be a Phyrexian Metamorph to be a 3-mana vanilla 2-1, basically. Or 4-mana vanilla 2-1.
Yeah. Hey. I used to play this Unlimited all the time back in Ice Age. No, I didn't play Limited in Ice Age.
Yeah.
That was too little.
Ice Age Limited sounds pretty awful.
All right, so but that's actually
but it ended up working. Yeah, it works. It's going to stem some bleeding, and once if Ian can get to the late game, he'll be in much better shape. The arrows on Austin's checklist card pointing to Delver of Secrets, which is indeed what it is.
So, Ian, let's see if I assume he's drawn a 5th land by now, because he hasn't been playing anything. Let's see, does he have a Zenith or a Curse? Curse would be ideal here, about to hit his 5th land drop.
Assuming Austin doesn't have the counter magic.
And I don't think he does.
Ian is pondering his options, has not played a land yet, so we aren't sure if he has a land drop this turn. He may have just drawn really expensive things, as his deck can do.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't that many of them, are there?
Well, there's Spine of Isha, the 2 Wormcoil engines that we think he has, 2 Curse of Death's Hold, possibly another Curse of Death's Hold that's been sided in, but he did have a 5th land drop. It is a Ghost Quarter. And this looks like a Black Sun for 1.
So Black Sun's in for 1. And if there's any counter magic in Austin's hand, we're about to see it. Can't imagine he lets this one go.
Mana Leak from Austin.
And that's exactly what Ian wanted to dodge, so Ian probably passing the turn back afterward.
It looks to me as if Austin has a Sun Titan in his hand, as well as a Restoration Angel. And there's a Gitaxian Probe that he just used to flip. So we still have, that is 2 Wormcoil Engines. 2 Wormcoil Engines, 2 lands in Ian's hand.
Wow. So just like this, it looks like the Blue-White Delver deck coming back from his mulligan to 5, taking down this game, probably.
Well, possibly. I mean, he still has Wormcoil Engine to be able to recover.
Yeah, and
assuming
no more counter magic in Austin's hand now.
Yep. If Austin does not have a Snapcaster Mage or more counter magic, this Wormcoil Engine can still do work.
But next turn, Austin will start Sun Tightening.
Yes.
For Sun Titan right now, not the greatest for Austin.
And there's a Wormcoil. This Sun Titan first is going to bring back a Snapcaster Mage that's going to target a Gitaxian Probe, which will allow Austin to draw even more cards.
Yeah, I mean,
Austin, however,
nice.
In danger of... he's going to go to 10 if he pays Phyrexian mana for the Gitaxian Probe that I think he might go for.
I think that's fine.
That's fine against a control deck, sure.
Yeah, I mean, 12 and 10.
Yeah.
Or, 12 is divisible by 6. And
yep.
10, still 2 swings from a
lethal,
engine.
sure. End of turn Restoration Angel from Austin.
That's really nice, actually.
This represents a... representing currently a 2-turn clock, but that's without using the Wormcoil Engine. So Phantasmal Image in Austin's hand.
And I mean, what he would have really liked is to have found a Vapor Snag at some point.
Yes.
He's just going to have to settle. Gets in for 6, but it's going down to 3 here.
Green and Chloe Pendleton, please come to the open stage.
And a Phantasmal Image.
Probably going to copy the Wormcoil. There it is. Austin keeping information back in addition to it probably actually being a better play.
Yeah, I mean, by getting that Phantasmal Image on the table, he can trade it aggressively and get his 2 guys, and then when he Sun Titans, he can return the Phantasmal Image, which will return the Sun Titan, which will come in as a Sun Titan,
yeah,
which
Austin,
will return the Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, Austin is not playing around Vapor Snag, for example, though.
Correct.
I suppose he sort of is, because the target will sacrifice the Wormcoil, but...
Yeah, so Austin able to aggressively trade here.
So we have a 4th member of the United States national team, Joe Panaccio, apparently, as Christian Calcano is tweeting.
Joe Panaccio won.
That's what it says.
Congratulations, Joe. I know you're probably not listening now, but if you watch a replay, that's awesome.
So you know Joe Panaccio?
I do.
It's pretty fabulous.
Yes, it's very good news. He's on the U.S. national team. A curse a little late here. Man, Joe Panaccio is a pretty good player. He gets bad luck. Like, I've seen him get really bad luck. It's pretty cool. Good for him. Sweet stuff. Oh, okay, so this is not a Curse of Death Soul. This is a Black Sun Zenith to clear the entire board, and,
now,
awesome.
The Life and Death Touch tokens of Ian's are going to have 2 -1/-1 counters on them.
Correct.
They do not yet, but they will. Or maybe they'll just die.
I mean, he did it for like...
Oh, he did it for $1 million? Okay, never mind.
He had to kill Restoration Angel and all that
okay.
other stuff. So, end of turn. Austin making a token with his Moorland Haunt, and here he's going to...
Presenting an aggressive 9-turn
what
clock.
his deck can do post-board by casting a Sun Titan.
Ian might not be anticipating that.
I don't think Ian is
shown by his line of play.
Yes. So
Sun Titan's sort of one of the next evolutions of the Delver sideboard. Once people had sort of caught on to Consecrated Sphinx, and people had started not wanting to get Phantasmal Imaged on their Consecrated Sphinx and faced down the shell game, or not shell game, the sort of game of chicken that Consecrated Sphinx can provide. So Steel Sabotage on Wormcoil Engine from Austin Fritz, countering with the Wormcoil from Ian Farnung. Another Spirit token from Austin.
And here's going to attack again. Whittling away at Ian's life total here. Choosing to not go for the Sun Titan.
Now he will.
Okay.
I was wondering if he was going to just try and win off of just tokens and try and hide the Sun Titan the ability to go crazy with Sun Titan until game 3. But Austin deciding to not give another chance to Ian. Ian showing a Buried Ruin, not really going to do it.
Yep, needs a Black Sun here, Black Sun Zenith. And he has the mana to do it for 6. Right now for 7.
Yep, returning the Wormcoil Engine and casting the Wormcoil Engine is not going to do it. He does have the 9 mana necessary, but it is not going to be enough. But he has the Black Sun for 6.
Off the top.
Off of the top, yep.
And Austin is tapped out here, so.
Austin not in bad shape, though. He's going to have more creatures in his graveyard to feed to a Moorland Haunt.
Yeah, and not only is he going to have more creatures to feed to the Moorland Haunt, but I believe he also has a Vapor Snag in hand.
Yeah.
Quite good against the Wormcoil Engine that Ian is probably going to Buried Ruin back to his hand in the very near future. Ian does have the mana available to return that Wormcoil. So
Ian stacking his lands in a manner to show just how many lands he has, and also showcasing his theoretical architecture degree.
Do all Royals have architecture degrees?
Oh my god.
Sort of Feast of Famine.
Coming down for Austin with the Moorland Haunt untapped.
And sort of Feast of Famine.
Now that's going to start pumping out multiple tokens a turn, as long as it starts hitting.
Yeah, and just the fact that he can make guys at instant speed, and then
he has a Ghost Quarter, so he can take out this Moorland Haunt right now if he so chooses. Yep, and he will.
Very nice.
Still has 1 token, but was able to take down the Moorland Haunt before it got totally out of hand.
And I think Ian might just be dead, because he's going to get Vapor Snagged, then he's going to get hit for 3, and then...
Yep.
Yeah.
Vapor Snag puts Ian to 5. The swing will put him to 2.
Yeah. And then Austin has a protection from Black Guy that has more than 2 power and flies. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be pretty hard for Ian to deal with that, unless, of course, he's able to draw another answer. He's able to draw like
a Ratchet Bomb,
for example, another Black Sun Zenith.
Spine of Isha.
I don't think that's still in his deck post-board against Delver.
Yeah, well. Someone I can dream. Ye old 7-mana sorcery. Hey, if he brought in the Karn Liberated, predicting this
scenario,
this very scenario, more power to him.
That would be pretty awesome if that happened.
Well, I know I'm going to get mana flooded in game 2. And I know the game is going to go real long, and I want to be able to top deck a 7-mana trump card. Ian is going to drop to 2 life. Has nothing to discard, and Ian has no lands on tap, so it's actually just a full shock Morningstar. It grants protection.
All right, so does Ian have anything here? It looks like he does. Ian's deck's pretty sweet. I like it a lot. All right, so have a Tezzeret, gaining a counter and looking for a Ratchet Bomb.
And there it is.
Finds it.
This is quite the tight wire act by Ian.
This is like the Lamb Chop theme song.
It's the outro
in so
song.
many ways.
Yeah.
The outro.
The outro. This is the game that never ends. I'll stop there. Even though that's the song that never ends. Yes, I do know which song is the intro and which song is the outro. I don't want to hear Twitter people commenting. Everyone at home knows that Lamb Chop's Play Along has its own theme song. That isn't the song that ever ends. I don't want to talk about it anymore, alright? I feel terribly awkward now. So, Ian has a Tezzeret that's active, and Austin has a bunch of reactive cards in his hand. So Ian might be able to stabilize this game. He's going to draw more cards than Austin.
Yes, he is.
He also has access to a Pristine Talisman if he wants. To start climbing back up that life total. Pristine Talisman, one of the cards that is most frustrating when you're trying to keep track of life total on life pads.
Yes.
Because so many tick marks.
When somebody has a Pristine Talisman, it's best to keep life total in the way that prisoners keep track of days.
Yes.
You know.
That's a good one.
It's also a good way of looking at it because that deck is normally played by, prison.
So he's going to take the Nihil Spellbomb instead for a redraw, or in order to turn it into a 5/5, one of the two. He's going to just take out Austin's graveyard. Enough of those shenanigans. No Snapcaster shenanigans, no Moorland Haunts. Although, how many Moorland Haunts? He does have 2 Moorland Haunts, so yeah. He does have a second Moorland Haunt, so he just wanted to get rid of the shenanigans that could have been possible later. Another Ratchet Bomb for Ian. Hand of Island, Cavern, Phantasmal Image, and I believe Vapor Snag was what I saw in Austin's hand. So yeah, a lot of reactive cards would be very good if Austin even had so much as a 1/1 in play. But he doesn't.
And Ian.
Going to start ticking up to take care of that sword most likely.
Yeah.
He might let it sit on 1, maybe 2, so as to be able to deal with a Snapcaster Mage or a Geist of St. Traft should they hit the board.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen.
So finds another Nihil Spellbomb.
There's another Nihil Spellbomb.
Going to play this.
Play the Nihil Spellbomb. Oh no, he's going to be playing the Ichor Wellspring to draw a card.
Yeah. Going to gain a life by sacrificing that to Phyrexia's Core, I assume.
Possibly, or he could. He's used Tezzeret's ability this turn, so most likely. At some point, Ian's going to have to try and start winning the game, although he's not quite there yet. He wants to establish more of a board presence, I imagine.
Understandably so.
The other important thing to realize is that Tezzeret's Epic ability can gain Ian life, pushing him out of range of Austin should he be able to land a Geist. So Tezzeret representing a 12-point life swing before the sacrifice, if he wanted it.
Ian going up to 3 there, using the Phyrexia's core. And drawing a card.
Ian playing this game, I mean, quite deftly. Like, he had 4 lands, 2 Wormcoil Engines at one point in this game. Was very nearly dead on a couple of occasions. And
drew some
very
nice,
good ones. Drew some good ones, sure.
nice.
I'm not going to say he didn't have some luck along the way,
ones.
but he also he played it well.
He did play it really well.
That isn't to say that luck is not part of the game, but some credit where credit is due.
Attention Magic players in the Standard Open. This is another reminder. You finished your round, and you believe you have made the top 64.
There's a Wormcoil Engine. That's the thing that Ian needed. He needed.
No, he's gonna
take the Pristine Talisman. Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's playing around Phantasmal Image, which he
Ah,
naturally has.
excellent. Oh, I see.
So-
Not yet verified.
Very
Please
good.
Very nice.
We can verify tax information. If you have not filled out a W-9 with us, please come to the
They're
open
now
station.
going
We
to
can
be
get
able
the
to
W-9s filled
just
out.
gain a little bit of life every turn.
Ian has a Go for the Throat in his hand, as well as a basic land of some kind.
And with that Ratchet Bomb just sitting at 2, it can at any moment deal with a Geist that Austin happens to draw.
Yes. Austin's a little bit flooded now,
Yep. Ian
although he still has
forward
less
here.
lands than Ian. Buried Ruin hits the bin to get back a Wormcoil. Was what he got back, I believe, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Probably still not going to cast it.
Seems unlikely. Especially considering he didn't take it last time. Just seems a little dangerous to go ahead and Wormcoil when your only removal is Go for the Throat.
Ian's going to go to 5 off this Pristine Talisman. Looks like he is going to cast Wormcoil here.
Ugh, even before he activates Tezzeret, come on.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like this.
There may be a time issue too, you never know.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, he's going to Fireball Austin for 8. So that's going to put Austin to 8 and Ian to 13.
Yep.
There is less than 10 minutes left in the round.
So, I mean, that's plenty of time to finish this game.
Yes.
But if you're worried about going to a third game,
Another land for Austin. And the Phantasmal Image for Austin that we knew he had.
yep. It's going to go down here.
Ah, so Ian's going to sacrifice the Wormcoil Engine in response to the Phantasmal Image, putting into play 2 tokens. Austin has his choice of
Seems
which
very
token
reasonable.
he wishes to copy. He will copy.
the lifelink.
Austin will choose life, which will be Joey Pasco.
My friend Joey Pasco. Joey, we have to talk about Game of Thrones soon if you're watching.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Alright, so Ian here. Gonna get to tick up this Tezzeret yet again. Get in there with some worms.
Did he
This is
did he
pretty
plus
cool at this
one?
point.
Did he plus 1 Tezzeret this turn?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's also possible he's going to turn one of his artifacts into a 5/5, which, assuming Austin has no tricks, represents lethal damage. Assuming Austin, or no, never mind. Austin has a lifelink token.
That is
Yeah.
a lifelink guy.
Time on the round in the Standard Open. Active player finish your turn and you have 5 extra turns.
Oh, so the reason he went for that turn was because he realized there was a time restraint.
Yes.
Okay.
They do have a time extension because they are on camera. They have a 6-minute time extension.
Wow.
So, while we're waiting here, tell me more about Panaccio, this 4th member of the national team.
Joe Panaccio, he is a Northeast player, super nice guy, friend of the whole Indianapolis crowd, all of the happy, jolly, good people
Sure.
in the Northeastern Magic scene. And I didn't even know he was going down there. I see him at PDQs all the time, like the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area.
Sure.
Super nice guy, always a good player.
Tezzeret's off camera now, so we don't know what he's doing. I imagine he just either ticked it up or ticked it down, one of the two. He's going to attack with the Pristine Talisman, so that sort of tells us what he's doing.
Yeah, that is 5/5 now, apparently. And Austin, not looking to be in the best of shape here. We're going to go ahead and Vapor Snag this Pristine Talisman.
It's a sentence that is rarely said.
Yeah.
He's going to go ahead and Vapor Snag this Pristine Talisman. I'm sure it's been said before, but not often.
Not often, it's true.
So still the 2 worms coming in, Austin deciding whether to block or whether to take the damage, although it looks like Ian is going to remove the Vapor Snag after combat.
Very reasonable. And
I imagine this is a Pristine Talisman coming down. Yes, it is. And to pass the turn. There it is.
what did you draw?
No, we got the Tezzeret back on the camera. Was all I was saying. There it is too.
Yes, so
Doomblade, the lifelink token,
and I think that's it. And
putting Ian to 17.
Ian playing this match really well.
Yeah.
Putting himself in good position to win all the
He
time.
had some tight spots, but he played to his outs, and he's going to move on to the top 8. So Ian Farnung, playing blue-black Tezzeret, defeats Austin Fritz, blue-white Delver, by a score of 2 games to none. And he will move on to the top 8 of the Standard Open